What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. I am super excited for this project. I have been teasing it for months now, and you guys have had no idea. I love going to festivals. I'm going to be raving to the grave. So because of that, I have really been wanting to replicate kind of like an Ultra Miami style festival in my city, because my city very resembles Miami. So that's what we're going to do today. And for this video, you have to stick around to the end because the end product is absolutely insane. As for location of this festival, it is going to take place at the Oceanfront Park because this is very similar to Bayfront Park in Miami where Ultra is. So let's get started with a gigantic fence going around the entire park because we need to make sure that the only people getting into the festival are people who have bought tickets, because we are here to make money after all, even though I was the only one that showed up to this festival. Anyway, after laying out the front entrances, there wasn't a whole lot of fence that needed to be done because a lot of the park is waterfront, and the waterfront will be guarded by police boats. And now we can get started on structures. Now, the first structure I started, I'm going to name the Wub Tunnel. And on the map, it is over here in the corner. It pretty much takes up this entire half of the park because this is going to be basically main stage number 2. It is going to be called the Wub Tunnel because it's going to have harder music, more like dubstep and rhythm, whereas the rest of the festival is going to be more house and like tech house and stuff like that. So yeah, the first step is to get all of the structures up, including the stages, the Ferris wheel, and all of the bathrooms and amenities. It is now time for my favorite part of the entire video, and that is doing all of the tech. So that is what I do in real life for an actual job, is I work in audiovisual, mainly lighting, because that is my main point of interest that I like. But anyway, that is my favorite part of building all these stages, is putting in all the LED wall lighting and speakers and the stuff that makes it work. So that is what we're going to get started on now. The first stage to get started on was the ocean stage. This one has a really unique triangular shape, and I also was using this to kind of test out my building strategy to get all the lights and all the arrangement. And also this stage was also on a diagonal, which also made it quite a bit harder. But it has everything it needs to run properly, including ramps in the back and consoles to run the sound and the lights, and it has everything, trust me. And now moving over to the Beats stage, the other smaller stage. This one is also half diagonal, but the two flanking screens are on straight edges. And I think this one also works out really well. It has these cool little tiered layers with LED wall and lights hanging below them, and just a really cool stage design. I really had fun with this part. This was honestly the whole reason why I wanted to build the festival, was because I really love stage design, and it's really fun and interesting, and you can get really creative with it. Moving on to the next stage, the next thing I built was the tiny little art cart, is what I'm calling it. This is mainly just like really small local artists. This stage is not going to really attract that much of a crowd, so that's why it's kind of tucked right next to the merch tent. Now it's time to start on the Wub Tunnel. This stage was definitely the largest and took the longest, but I started out with adding some extra scaffolding to support the gear. This is going to hold some LED wall and some speakers and lights and pretty much everything. We needed some more scaffolding to hang stuff. So that was the first step, and then I can start going crazy with adding in the LED wall. I started out with gray, and then I eventually changed it to green to do the green screen that you'll see later. But yeah, imagine how cool this is gonna be when it's done. So this part is fairly important. In front of the stage is where I put what I call the wall of bass, which is all the subwoofers. And then I also squeezed in the pyro here. Normally they put pyro on stage, but for redstone purposes I put it on the ground. And then I'm able to cover up the tent permanently to keep it sealed from the rain, because we are in the tropics and it tends to rain a lot. And then on the back of the tent I decided to put a nice little graphic and put some lights on it, just so that it wasn't a big white wall that was bland. Now starting the last stage, this is going to be technically main stage because it is a permanent amphitheater. I'm going to be calling this the Cove. However, this setup is pretty simple, lots of LED wall, lots of lighting. I decided to do the truss in this one a little bit differently, so I decided to start building it on the ground and then slowly raise it up, kind of like how they do in real life. And I did the same thing with the line array, aka the speakers. We call them line array. Yeah, they build them on the ground and they raise them up with motors by chain. It's pretty cool, so I decided to replicate that process here for the video because I thought it'd be interesting to try out. And then yeah, I'm just able to start marking out areas for the crowd to go in. Those are very important. We need to keep the crowd in the crowd. That's also a very important thing. And then we can construct our wall of bass, and then put in some pyro and complete the DJ deck, where the DJ will actually be blessing our ear holes with music. And this last stage is pretty much just wrapped up. I'm gonna work on some backstage areas. I'm gonna put in a green room, we call it, which is where the artists can get ready for their set. Some passageways, generators for power, and all of the road cases that the gear would go in. We call that the boneyard. So yeah, I decided to replicate all of that as well. Now with the stages built, we need to work on the festival grounds. This includes all of the food, the bathrooms, the medical tents, the vendors, everything. So that is what we're going to get started with. Now looking back at it now, I don't think I built enough food tents, so these are probably going to get a lot of business and make a lot of money. Normally at festivals there's probably double as many food tents from what I built. And then I also added in another restroom because I realized that only one restroom is not going to work. And then right next to that, the permanent restroom is going to be GA Plus and VIP bathroom. Next, I decided to add in these really cool string lights to add some ambiance to the area and kind of light it up a little bit more and add some color to the sky. I felt like it was just a little too open and needed to be enclosed. This next structure, I built it floating in the sky because I didn't quite know how big to make it, but it's one of those weird dome tent thingies I've been seeing a lot at festivals lately. I don't really know how to describe it, but once I had the shape, I was able to paste it on the ground. Looking back at it, I think I made it a little too big because it's kind of leaking into the tent a little bit, but it's alright. Now I can continue with a bunch of the vendors, and I built a medical tent for if someone gets hurt. And then this is also super important. We need free water because water is essential to live and we don't want people getting dehydrated, so here is a free water station. Also, most festivals have this place called like an oasis where you can kind of go and chill out if you need to kind of get away from the festival for a few minutes and just kind of chill and relax. And then I'm just going to keep going around the festival and building more tents.
No inhibitions, no worries.
finishing off the grounds, I decided to build like a little beer tent over here with a bunch of places to kind of eat and sip on some beer while you just chill. I also built the merch tent. That usually always is super crazy and has a long line, and the merch usually sells out immediately on the first day. So if you're lucky enough to get merch at the merch tent, good luck, but it's here. And that, ladies and gentlemen, pretty much wraps up the build of the festival.
No inhibitions, no worries.
Thank you all so much for watching this video. This one was really fun to make, as I have been wanting to do it for so long. I will be doing Beatwave again next year, because in about a week I'm going to tear down this entire festival. The park will be back to normal, and next year we'll be able to do it all again. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit it with a big fat like, and if you really enjoyed the video, hit me with a subscribe. Let me know in the comments which stage was your favorite. I'm going to have to go with the Wub Tunnel. That one was really fun to make. Let me know in the comments which one was your favorite. Anyways, I will catch you guys later for another build. I don't know what I'm going to build, but I will catch you all later. Bye.
No inhibitions, no worries.